Hi there, I'm Lee Blickley from HuffPost, and welcome to Build Series. Based off Philippa Gregory's novels, The Spanish Princess tells the story of Katherine of Aragon, who heads to England from Spain to marry an heir and forge an alliance. But as troubles come her way, she improvises, making sure the throne is always in her sight. Today we have Charlotte Hope and Laura Carmichael here to talk about the new Starz series, but first, here's the trailer.
Spain and England unite against our enemies so that my son is protected on his throne.
Until that girl arrives, we are lost.
I asked my mother once why I was not afraid of my destiny. She said I may as well be fearful of my own reflection.
I give to you Princess Katherine of Aragon.
God would have me wed the prince. Only then can I protect Spain.
What will happen to her now? I do not care what will happen to her.
The line of succession is clear.
May I introduce Prince Henry? People call me Harry.
You are his brother's widow.
I came here to forge an alliance with England, and that is what I'll do.
Do not cross me, Katherine. There is nothing I won't do to save my family.
Our alliance is in shreds.
She's arrogant and overprivileged.
What game does she play?
What makes you think it's a game?
I am the daughter of the greatest monarch this world has ever known. If you challenge me, I shall defeat you.
And let's welcome Charlotte Hope and Laura Carmichael from The Spanish Princess. Thank you guys for being here.
Thank you for having us.
That trailer looks pretty epic, right? Yeah. We're all down for epic series these days. So tell me, had you guys seen, I know there was the White Queen and the White Princess as well. Had you seen that before signing on to this one?
Yeah, I watched both of them.
Yeah, same. So it was exciting to see where it was going to go next.
Yeah, what did you guys think of those series when you had watched them? And what kind of drew you into being a part of The Spanish Princess?
I actually originally auditioned for Anne Neville in The White Queen. So I watched it with deep sadness. I didn't get the job.
It wasn't cast.
I was like, oh, this is so good and I'm not in it. and then I loved The White Princess too. I think Jodie's incredible.
Yeah.
So by the time the Spanish Princess scripts came, I was a super fan already. And then there was this incredible character and I was pretty obsessed from the get-go.
Yeah.
Were you happy that you weren't cast in the other one? Because now you're like, I could play the lead in this one, you know?
Yeah. Also, that literally never happens. Like, every time that you miss out on a job as an actress, your agents are like, don't worry, something better's coming. And in my mind, I'm always like, no, it's just awful, and I'm not going to work, and I'm going to be miserable. And then this is like one of the few times that it actually worked out really well for me. So
Really well.
Yeah.
How was that to kind of take on a big role like Katherine? Because, she's the star of the series and you follow her journey throughout. Is that a little intimidating or super exciting?
It was amazing. Yeah. I loved it. It was really fun because I really loved going to work every day. Like, I was there all day, every day, like in the trenches with this amazing cast and crew. And we were like tired together on a Friday night and we were making something exciting and it was just really inspiring. I think, I just loved getting to act every day, so it was great.
And how about you, Laura? Now, we know Laura's from Downton Abbey, right? Yeah, come on. Let's get that out there.
We'll get it out the way. Yeah.
So had you signed on to this after you had wrapped Downton?
Yeah, no, we've been wrapped a while. Yeah. So, even though it probably doesn't feel like it felt like time enough before going into a different period drama. But I loved the scripts and was super excited to come on board.
Is that exciting too, to kind of leave a show behind and take on a new character after playing someone for so many years?
Yeah, it's a strange thing. I was talking about it this morning actually, how you play someone for a long time and you realize how they have become part of you in a weird way. So it takes a while to kind of decompress from it and then but yeah, I think all actors, we just want to flex different muscles all the time. So once you've kind of finished one thing, you want to do something completely different. So yeah, it's been a fun few years sort of since the end of Downton.
And what was it about Maggie, this character, that kind of drew you into want to play her? Because, I saw the first episode, and there's definitely something there where I'm like, what's going on between Maggie and Katherine? There's some history there, at least.
Yeah, so for Maggie, seeing Katherine come to England is very painful because her brother was killed in order for the alliance to be made. So there's some history there. She kind of is in pain every time she looks at Katherine. So there's pain there. But I think as well, I think she's quite a relatable character because she cares deeply about her family and her children, and she sort of puts that above ambition or power or status. So when it's all going wild around her, she's just trying to keep it together for her kids, really.
Yeah. And then how about Katherine? How would you explain her to the audience who hasn't yet met her?
She's surreal. I really can't decide if she's like the heroine or the villain. I think that's what's really cool about this story is that it's not just a story of good people and bad people. It's a story of really complicated people that sometimes do good things and sometimes do bad things. And like right at the beginning, the show, I have an amazing showrunner, Emma Frost, said to me, she was like, you don't have to make this character likable. Like, she can be entitled and privileged, and she can learn, and she can make mistakes. And that, as an actress, is really interesting to me. And she is like Maggie, she's really just trying to navigate a really difficult, complicated world and do best for her, but also for like her ladies in waiting and everyone around her. And it's a complicated journey, but that's, I think, what makes it interesting.
Yeah, talk about like the power and the politics behind a show like this. It must be fun to kind of play with that a little bit and kind of get into the social aspect of these medieval times.
Yeah.
How was it to play with, the idea of chasing a throne or chasing that power and kind of being on an individual journey in that sense for both of you?
I loved it. Like, I think Catherine has a really strong sense of her destiny, and she comes to England and she knows that she's going to be Queen of England. And I think that kind of real sense of determination is really fascinating, especially for a woman. If it were a man, we wouldn't question it at all, but because she's like fiercely determined, we're like, ooh, okay, that's not what I was expecting, but that's really cool. And then, and she gets like the relationships that she has with other women in the show, like Margaret Beaufort is this incredible, strong, powerful character. But again, when the two of them are pitted against each other, it's not clear which one's good and which one's bad, which one's hero, which one's villain. They're both pretty Machiavellian, they're both pretty manipulative, but they're pitted against each other in a really cool way.
Yeah, how did you feel about it?
I mean, I think the thing that's so good and interesting about the books and this show is that you kind of see things from the female perspective. So you might know the history of Henry and his wives, but they're the kind of side note of what you might know. And what this show does is it shows you from the perspective of the women and the sort of ways in which their lives were constrained because of their gender, I think. And so for Maggie, she didn't get to pick her husband. He was someone who she was married to make her loyal to the king. He was a Tudor friend. But she got lucky and she fell in love with him, and he's a kind and good man. But yeah, she doesn't have those choices. Their kind of power does come from who they marry, and that choice is often taken out of their hands, which is what you see with Katherine as well, what she has to fight for who she wants to be with and the destiny that she believes is for her.
Yeah, talk about Catherine's journey for those who are trying to, want to get into the show. So she comes over from Spain because she's, supposed to marry Arthur, who's the heir to the throne, and then things kind of don't work out that way.
Don't know the history. It's like spoiler.
Yeah. So how did you kind of approach that character and that, this was what my character was supposed to do, and then things changed. So how do you go about changing the character to kind of go around that?
I think like all of Katherine is about she comes with one set idea and then something else works out, and then she's like constantly having to like re-navigate. So she comes and she expects to meet Arthur, and she expects that he's going to be this like handsome prince, and she's going to have this fairy tale ending, and she's like been dreaming about it, and they've been writing letters, and then it turns out she was catfished, and actually Arthur's a bit wet and got a dodgy hairstyle. But then like she has to navigate that, and she actually ends up finding like quite a beautiful, kind relationship with Arthur, and then
history happens. You can Google that spoiler. Yeah.
And then she's got to like reset and be like, okay, I know I want to be Queen of England, so now I've got to restart. And then she finds this whole different relationship with several other people in the series.
So many. Yeah, let's talk about the love a little bit, because you can't have this kind of show without a little bit of romance.
No, there's good romance in this show.
Yeah.
It's steamy.
There's lots. There's lots of different romantic relationships. Lina.
I know. Lina and Oviedo, every time they come on screen, I'm like,
it's hot. Yeah.
When you read through the scripts, was that exciting to kind of play both sides? You get a little bit of romance and you get a little bit of the social politics as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good mix.
Yeah. I mean, it's all there. It's definitely got the political drama and the kind of big action scenes, and then also some really steamy romantic moments.
And some amazing costumes and sets and all that. Now, you're used to, of course, Downton had costumes.
Yeah.
And, of course, you played Miranda. I can't forget on Game of Thrones, which is, that's an interesting thing that you said, the villain and the hero, because she was definitely a villain.
I do not think so. Everyone always says this to me. I'm like, she was really in love, and she was having a really hard time, and she had nothing, and she was just trying to make the best of it.
Yeah.
I'm constantly playing the characters.
Yeah. She had a vicious death, too, man.
She did. Yeah, she really did.
But being on those kind of shows and then coming to something like this and the costumes and the set, were you impressed to kind of step into like a different age?
Totally. Yeah, it's magical. We had an amazing designer, Phoebe de Gay, and she had a really beautiful vision for this world. And, you know, I'm in the sort of English gang of being lots of heavy browns and greens and fur, and then the sexy Spanish lot turn up in the sort of gold. And it's you can see both worlds so clearly through the dresses. It's amazing.
Yeah. No, they were so beautiful.
So
I mean, I have
beautiful.
like such a vivid memory of we were starting out this time last year and being on these incredible locations in these like fairy tale costumes, and it just didn't seem real. It's super exciting.
Yeah, do you find that you can really just get into character when you slip on one of those dresses? And
Yeah, but also it's dress up. It's like everything I dreamed of when I was a kid. I got to dress up as a princess and run around castles doing something. And I got to act every day. It's my dream life.
So how long was the shoot, and how long did it take to make this miniseries?
5.5 months?
6 months? Yeah.
Where was the location that you guys shot at?
We were based in Bristol, but then we filmed in loads of castles all around.
Around the west of the UK, really. There's some amazing castles there. I had no idea about some of these locations. They are really old.
So what do you guys do on your off days as a cast? Do you have any fun cast stories that happened behind the scenes?
Well, it was the World Cup last summer.
Yeah.
So it was super hot, and we were kind of, checking smartphones in between to see how England was getting on and stuff.
We watched one game on our dinner break.
Yeah, and there was one time I remember like mid-take being like, they've equalised. And like walking on being very unprofessional. But it was, everyone is so excited in an environment like that. So that was cool. But yeah, it was crazy hot last summer in the UK.
Yeah.
And
we were all in
far too
furs.
hot to be a Tudor at that time. Too much fur.
What kind of research did you guys do to prep? Because I know you have the books, Philippa Gregory's books. Did you read those? But then what else did you kind of delve into to figure out who your characters would be at this time?
I mean, we had a couple of like lectures near the beginning, didn't we? Yeah. Oh, yeah. And we had like some etiquette stuff, which was always helpful. Learning about the many ways that we would play our status in amongst the gang. I visited the Tower of London.
Did you?
I did.
This is so impressive. I read a lot of history books on my own.
Oh no, but that sounds impressive.
We also did our first block director was this amazing director called Birgitte Stermus, and she really, she and I spent a lot of Sunday afternoons sitting and talking about the character and prepping, so that we were really, by the time we got to shooting, it was really entrenched the whole world. So yeah.
Yeah, does that help to have, a female director who clearly understands what you guys are trying to portray with these characters?
I mean, she was absolutely awesome.
amazing,
Yeah, we were really lucky to have her start the show, because that first block is kind of establishing who you're going to be, and so those early episodes and those first few days, it was really lovely to have her. She's got a brilliant touch, I'd say.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's helpful to have, it was a very female perspective, so it was really helpful to be surrounded by women. But I think that was as much, when I first came onto it, I thought it was just about redressing a balance. And actually, when I was working with these women, I was like, I just have this incredible opportunity to work with these amazing filmmakers and creatives from Birgitte was just totally inspiring, but Maya Zamojdar, our DOP, was also this total
great.
artist, and it looks amazing. And yeah, I'm really excited that I got to work with them. And maybe 10 years ago I wouldn't have had the opportunity, but maybe also 10 years ago this story wouldn't be being told.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's the thing now is, there's so many great stories being told on screen, and there's so many more artists who get to work on those stories.
Yeah.
Are you seeing that shift about how many more projects there are out there that you can kind of experiment with and go out and try to get?
Yeah, I think so. I think it is a really exciting time to be working. But I think, what I feel hopeful for is that soon we'll get to a point where it won't be it won't be a big
thing.
deal.
Yeah,
But
it'll
it'll
just
be
feel you're working with these
yeah.
amazing people, and we don't even have to talk about it. It's
Yes. And I think that's coming. I think it is. It's an exciting time to be working, to try and kind of get some more stories out there that reflect the world in which we live in.
And TV seems to be the place to do that. But then we also have, Downton went from TV and now it's coming to the big screen.
Yes.
We're all very excited about that, right?
Yeah.
And you can't tell us much about Downton, can you?
No, nothing.
But how was it for you to go back onto that set and kind of revisit Edith?
It was so fun. It was really lovely. It was like a big reunion. And we do keep up with each other. We see a lot of each other. We're all really good mates. But it was fun for me to see Michelle become Mary again. It did feel like seeing an old friend. So yeah, that's what we kind of hope the film will feel like for the audience, is like seeing your old pals again.
Do you think we'll be satisfied? Because we're really...
I hope so. God, I hope so. But yeah, we had a really amazing time making it, and I'm excited. I haven't seen it yet, but I can't wait.
Oh, that's going to be great.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I mentioned Game of Thrones for you. Do you keep up with the show and see what the characters are up
I'm
to?
a huge fan.
Yeah.
Did you watch last night?
I watched
I haven't watched it yet, so no spoilers.
I won't, but it's really good.
I get so confused as when it comes on, because we get it a bit later in the UK. So I was like, it's Monday night, and it's like, no, it's Sunday.
No, you've really missed the
I
trick.
could've
Yeah, you could have
watched
watched
it.
it.
I thought I was
Hard
gonna
too
watch
with
it tonight.
spoilers these days.
I
Like
know.
everything.
I was
you
going to
get.
save it, but then I was like,
Don't save it.
it's the big episode.
Yeah.
People are going to die. I got to watch
Yeah.
this that time.
No
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you, don't
Tell
worry.
you anything, we promised.
Yeah.
But how was that as not your first, but a big experience to be?
No, it was
a
my
part-
first big
yeah.
experience. Yeah.
I mean, what a show to be a part of. As
It was
your first.
amazing. Yeah. No, it was. I really had the best time. They're an amazing group. Like David and Dan, the showrunners, are just so kind and supportive, and everyone was amazing. And it's really exciting. You must have this on Downton. It was really exciting to get to do a job where I was like, I know my friends are going to watch this.
Yeah.
Everyone else who was like, you're having to persuade to tune in to watch stuff, and I'm like, everyone really loved the show. It was a cool thing to be a part of.
Still do. I feel like everybody watches that.
Yeah.
show. And
Yeah.
Downton too. Those
Yeah.
two, the two
know.
shows. So coming from sets like that and then onto this, what did you learn from those two shows that really helped you with the Spanish Princess? They're big. I mean, those
They're
are big
big.
sets. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like Downton was like my school. It was
Yeah.
it's where I learned how to do it. And because I was working with such kind and generous actors who were willing to like show me how to do it. My first day, I remember Jim Carter, who plays Carson, seeing me going, "Oh my God, what am I going to do?" He's like, "Why don't you come over here, lovey, and grab a bit of this and do this?" And I was like, "Thank you, thank you, thank you." You know, and it just continued like that for 6 years. So, and I think, you know, and I feel it with our cast on Spanish Princess. You know, we have Harriet Walter, who's this legend, and, you know, Elliot Cowan, and just there's so many brilliant actors, and that's the joy that you get to be on set with other people, that you're checking out how they're doing it and going, "That's good, I want to learn that."
Constantly just trying to steal how good people are. I'm like, tell me how you did it.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that was the same with Thrones. It just like, it sets a bar. Like, I watch these amazing actors and how much they prepared and how much they cared, and like how excited and positive everyone on set. Like, Thrones is a really happy set because everyone knows they're making something amazing, and so they're so excited to be there. And yeah, I spent like a good 10 years just watching and trying to take notes and learn and get better, and that's what we're always trying to do, you know? Like, I don't think I ever stopped being like, "Oh, I know what I'm doing now, so I can just relax." I'm constantly just trying to, ask Harriet how she does it.
Yeah.
Like, I imagine you were on that set flipping through the scripts, being like, "When am I gonna die?
Yeah.
Am I gonna live?"
Yeah, but I didn't read any of the scripts. No. I just, I only read they sent me my part, and I was reading season 5, and mainly I was really excited because I was like, this. But then I was like, this isn't going to end well for her. So
yeah. But hey, it was a memorable one. Like,
oh my gosh, yeah.
Well, let's open it up to some audience questions. We have 2, I think. Here we go.
Hi. What was the most fun and interesting part about participating in this project, and what was the biggest challenge you have faced?
I found challenge-wise, I like the heat and horses. I remember horses are,
badly behaved. I was also allergic.
I was going to say you were allergic.
So that was a real. I'm also allergic to the outside. So that was a challenge.
It was so hot as well, which you just can't believe of the UK. But it's just like, we're very pale girls, so it's like we need some.
Well, and also we were trying to pretend like it was like deep dark winter and everything was miserable and cold, and really we were just like.
She must
smelly, bad behaved horses.
Yeah, so that was challenging. But what was the most fun? I mean, I just love scenes where everyone gets together. So the sort of big epic scenes.
Yeah.
Which I don't want to spoil anything, but you know.
There was some good, good group scenes. But also I think like we were a real, there were a lot of newcomers in our cast, like kind of myself included, which meant that everyone was like, it was a really big deal for everyone, and we were all so excited to be on set. So there was that real sense that everyone was like, I love this is so new and exciting, and it never felt like a job. It felt like a dream. No, but it did. It really did, and that meant that there was a real the energy on set was just everyone was having the best time.
Yeah, it was a very positive environment.
Hi. So, what was one of your favorite scenes to film on the series?
Trying to think. Do you know, I did love that scene with us where you throw yourself at my feet, I was going to say, which sounds hilarious. But that's such a special moment. But so it's quite early on when when Katherine discovers what was done in order to bring her here, which is the killing of Maggie's brother. And it's a really big emotional moment for both of them, I think. And having said I love those big scenes, also those two-handers when you get to have some real moments of emotional stuff, it's really satisfying.
Yeah. In those early episodes, I had some amazing stuff with Angus Imrie. And he's just a beautiful, generous, amazing actor. So those, getting to create that relationship, and especially all the stuff we had in Ep 2, he was just amazing. So I really loved getting to work with him.
Great. I can't wait for you guys to see it. It's really great. And it comes out May 5th, this Sunday on Starz. Make sure to check it out. Thank you guys for being here so much.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.